All right, good to see everyone. Welcome to our Sunday morning. Today, we are diving into the obliques. Now, because this is just a 75-minute class, we don't have a lot of time to go into attachments and origins and all that jazz, but I am going to show you the three primary obliques from internal to external, meaning from the closest to your core to the more outer of your core. The transverse, your obliques are really three muscles that make up your obliques. Some might say four, but most anatomy junkies will say three. And the oblique muscles are predominantly along the side of your trunk, the side of your core. Now they do wrap around, right? As you can see this on the screen, the transverse abdominis, I mean, it's connective tissue. Its fascia comes all the way around to the front and it moves around to the back of your spine as well. Now, the obliques are responsible for all the rotational movement of your body, of your trunk rather. They're responsible for contracting and extending when we bend from side to side. And also, I think one of their huge, they have a lot of things they do, but one of the really huge functions is they serve to protect our spine. So if you think about it for just a quick minute, visualize your spine, and the thoracic spine, your upper back thoracic spine, has the rib cage attached to the back, and the rib cage then attaches to the sternum around front. If you think about your sacrum, I mean, that's a pretty sturdy triangular bony structure, and it's surrounded by the large hefty bones of the pelvis. So you have two areas running along your spine that are quite vulnerable. And those two areas are your cervical spine. We don't have any bony structure around the cervical spine to protect it. And likewise, our lumbar spine, the low back. We don't have a bony structure around the lumbar spine to protect it. We have organs, we have fat, we have tissue, we have muscle. That's our protective mechanism for our lumbar spine. So I think that's a really big part, a big piece of the equation. So your transverse abdominis does, and it's the transverse is the deepest, meaning it's like, the deepest in your body. And it does what it says it does. It moves transversely. It's predominantly horizontal. After the transverse abdominis, then we plug into, I don't know how to do this one at a time. We plug into the internal obliques. There we go. There's our internal oblique. And I want you to particularly, again, we're not going to talk origin, attachment, and all that stuff, but I want you to particularly notice how it runs along the rim of your pelvis. So if you'll find your hip points up front here, and that's what you're feeling is like right about here. You can see my cursor. So we're going to, when we begin today, we're going to feel for this attachment here along the rim of your hip. And you can see that the internal oblique, it fans out, moving from your hips forward. So you've got that fanning mechanism, and then the external obliques fan in yet another way. No, wait, that's internal. Shit, sorry, hang on, where's external? There you are, there's external. Sorry. So confusing. Your external obliques then fan in yet another way. And they also run along, they also have this connective tissue here along the front of your pelvic rim. These muscles all work with your ribs. But anyway, what I wanted to get across, I'm not sure if I can share two things at once on my screen. Sorry, I feel like I should be a little more savvy by this point on Zoom, but your internal and external obliques, they run opposite one another. They make a almost like basket weaving. That's the point I want to get across, is this whole basket weaving aspect of your obliques. Okay, so screen is not shared anymore. Good. All right. So that's where we're headed, just visualizing this, this tapestry of the internal and external obliques. And of course, your transverse abdominis lies underneath those two sets of muscles. Come down onto your back, please. If you've got your chair out, move it off to the side. We're not going to use it until halfway through class. Likewise with your strap, don't need it right now. And your block, don't need it right now. But come onto your back. Let your body kind of sink into the floor. As you transition down to the floor, migrate and do whatever you need to do to get yourself set up and your head in the game for your practice. Turn off your music or on your music, or light your candle or whatever it is you need to do. Get onto your back and give yourself a couple of deep breaths. Inhaling to bring about a transition from your morning, your rituals, your routines, your tasks, to your mat, and exhaling, inviting yourself to drop in and be fully present. Breathing in, filling your lungs, and breathing out. And let's go one more deep breath. And exhale. Good. I'd like you to bend your knees, please, if they're not already, and take your feet a little wider than your hips. Let your knees rest against one another. And bring your hands to your belly. And then slide your right hand over to your right hip point. That's your ASIS. Slide your left hand over to your left hip point. And with your belly soft and supple, just start gently palpating, pressing along the crest of your pelvis, the spine of your pelvis. It's called the anterior superior iliac spine. Just find that bone and, move up to your side waist, maybe move around to the back. You can use your fingers, you can use your thumb. I want you to kind of really start digging in there. And once you've identified it, you found the bone, you found the two rims of your pelvis, I want you to just start digging in even deeper. Notice if one side is more tender than the other. Point of attachment for the internal and external obliques right here. And visualizing your internal obliques moving upward, fanning upward. So some of the fibers of the internal obliques are quite vertical, and then on the diagonal. Some of the fibers of the external obliques are quite diagonal, and then they move to horizontal. The basket weaving of the obliques. Good. And then take your arms out like a T, please. And with your feet wide, your knees remaining bent, breathing in, take your knees over to the left. And allow your back to arch. You might even over-exaggerate, lifting your right hip up off the floor. Anchor down through your right arm and right shoulder, a big stretch through your right waist. And then as you exhale, you'll come back up through center, gently swinging your knees up. And breathing in, you'll take your knees to the right. Good, big arch. A purposeful pandiculation to start the practice. Good, and just go from side to side a couple more times. We're focusing on the obliques primarily as they run along the side of our trunk, but they, as I said earlier, they do wrap around to the front and the back. They're just really big players in our core. Good. When your knees are going to the left the next time, let's stay there for a couple of breaths. Press into the instep of your right foot. Kind of shear your right knee towards the left corner of your sticky mat a little more. And as you reach your right arm away from your trunk, open your fingers, stretch the webbing between your fingers. Good. And then come back up. You'll take your knees to the other side. And again, let's pause. Find the instep of your left foot. Share your left knee, your left femur towards the bottom right corner of your mat. And reach your right hand, left hand, reach your left hand away from your left heel. Yeah. Good. Notice the movement of your skin around your ribs. Good, and then slowly come back up. Great. Heel toe your feet towards one another on your mat. Bring your hands behind your head, clasp your fingers together. And then you're going to slide your left elbow, your elbows are bent, slide your left elbow, down towards your left hip. Your right elbow will reach towards the baseboard beyond your head. So crunching through your left waist, side bending over to the left. Plant down through your right elbow if you can. Good. Sweep through center. Try to keep your head low. Keep supporting your head with your hands. And then you'll take your right elbow down towards your right hip. Squeezing. Take your left elbow. Aim it towards the wall beyond your head. And let's just stay here and just kind of dive into the sensations. Definitely there's the contraction through the right side, the constriction through the right side, the lengthening of the left side. But, what do you feel through your left armpit? Maybe your left triceps, maybe in your left chest. Great. And then let's come back to center. Good. You keep your hands behind your head, but now pick your knees up, feet up off the floor, knees are bent. And you're going to swing your heels to the left as you take your left elbow towards your left hip. You just swing your heels to the left, your knees will toggle to the right. And then you're going to swing back through center. Kick your heels to the right as you take your right elbow towards your right hip. Good. We're just going to do this a couple more times. It's much easier to do this on a blanket or a rug or a carpeted floor, but you can support your head in your hands and, maybe you lift your arms and shoulders off the floor just enough so you're not getting too caught up on your sticky mat. Okay, just a little toggle from side to side, taking your elbow to your heels as you swing your heels from right to left. Let's take a look. So your knees will go one way, your heels will go the other way. Yeah, great, good. Nice. This is a fun one. If you're in a studio setting on a nice wood floor or bamboo floor, and you do this on blankets, people will like start moving around the room. It's really a lot of fun. It's a good one. And then when you feel like you've done that enough from side to side, come back to center, take your arms out in the T position, please. Set your feet to the floor, take your feet wide, and let's do just a couple more windshield wipers. Just coming back to something we know. After that contraction through our side waist, contraction through our obliques, now we can counter that with some lengthening. And just a couple times, 2 or 3 times from side to side. All right, good. And finish that up. You're going to migrate your way to hands and knees. Take your time, identify your pathway to hands and knees, and then make it so. Good. Great. And then from hands and knees, as you're ready, as you inhale, arch your lower back, middle back, your upper back, and look forward. The cow, the cat-cow. And when you exhale, you're going to rock back to child's pose, balasana. Good. We're going to take your time these first couple of rounds, breathing in, unpack your limbs, coming forward to staff pose, shoulders over wrists, waking up the feet. And then you'll move into downward facing dog as you exhale. Good. And we'll do that a couple more times, just moving slow and easy, checking in with wrists, ankles, and feet. Inhale, hands and knees, looking forward, arching, drawing your shoulder blades towards your sacrum, taking your sternum forward. Exhale, lengthening your spine as you drop your hips to your heels for balasana. Inhale to staff, strong and long. Downward dog as you exhale. Good. One more time, please. We'll all meet one another in downward facing dog. Great. Okay, so from downward facing dog, separate your feet at least 6 inches. And then glide yourself forward to staff pose. You're going to keep both hands to the floor, but spin your heels to the left. You'll be on the instep of your right foot, the outer edge of your left foot. Plant firmly through both hands, strong through both arms. Keep your shoulders, chest square to the floor. Good. Rotational movement through your obliques. Good. Come up onto the balls of your feet. Very nice. And spin your heels over to the other side, over to the right, finding the medial line of your left foot, lateral line of your right foot. Good. Toggle your mandible, your lower jaw back and forth a couple times. And come back to the balls of your feet and find your way to downward dog or child's pose, either way. You can come to child's pose and roll your wrists around if you'd like. Okay, so from downward dog, I want you to inhale and take your right heel to the ceiling. And you can do this from hands and knees if you'd like. Take your right heel up. And as you exhale, you're going to come forward to staff. Bring your right knee to your left elbow and bring it to the outside of your left elbow. Good, big twist. And then inhale back to 3-legged dog. And now let's take the right knee to the right elbow. Yeah, great, good. Back to 3-legged dog, and then set your right foot down. And let's come to child's pose for a moment. I'm getting a little hot on the wrist already. Yeah. Yep, good. I like to see it. Okay, now as you're ready, return to downward dog. And then from here, you'll sweep your left heel up. And let's take your left knee to your left elbow first. Let's just do that kind of side bend and crunch. Left knee, left elbow, come forward to staff. And then back to three-legged dog. And then you'll twist. Bring your left knee to your right elbow. Sweep it across. Good. Three-legged dog. And then step down and come to child's pose. Whew. All right. Good. Anything goes with your hands and arms. You can keep your arms long in front or sweep them around to your sides. Move your fingers around a bit. Make a fist and then release. Fist and then release. Oh. Okay. Return to downward dog, please. From dog pose, I want you to glide forward to staff. And we're going to do this from staff. You're going to squeeze your right knee to your right elbow. That's an exhale. And then inhale, take your right toes back to the floor for staff again. 2 more times. Exhale, right knee to right elbow. Lift your knee, lift your foot. Inhale, stretch your leg behind you, staff pose. 1 more time. Right knee, right elbow. Hike it up there and step back. Downward facing dog. Okay, let's do the other side. You can do this hands and knees. Come forward to staff. That's your inhale. Exhale, left knee to left elbow. Squeeze, squeeze. Good. Breathing in, take your leg back, toes to the floor. Exhale, knee to elbow. Squeeze, squeeze. You got it. Good. 1 more time. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Take it back. Good. Downward dog or child's pose, your call. Let's take 3 breaths. Soften your knees. Let your heels float away from the floor. Really hike your hips up. Yeah, good. All right, from downward facing dog, you're going to take your right foot forward to your right hand. However you'd like to migrate it up there. This is where your elbow is going to, or your elbow, this is where your block is going to come into the picture. So I've got elbow on the brain. Right foot forward, left heel comes down. Place your block to the inside of your right foot. I'm going to put my block on the tallest height. You do you. You're going to bring your left fingertips to the back of your head with your elbow bent. And trying to move your lower body as little as possible. As you exhale, sweep your left elbow down towards your right knee. And then inhale, sweep your left elbow up to the ceiling. Good. 2 more times for a total of 3. Try to keep your legs firm, steady. Little movement in your hips, very little movement in your hips. Good. Coiling in and then opening up. Great. 3 times. After your 3rd time, you'll stick to it with your left elbow up. Good, 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 good. Take your left arm up. Ooh. And then maybe left arm over your left ear. If that feels good in your shoulder joint. Good. I want you to turn your sternum to the left, roll your left ribs towards your back body. Great. Good. And from here, sweep your left fingertips to the floor. Set your block to the side as you come up onto the ball of your left foot. Good. Now both hands to the floor. Now listen, we're going to step back to staff pose. and come down right away to forearm staff. Okay. Spin your heels to the left. Bring your right hand to your right waist. Good. So I'm on the instep of the right foot, outer edge of the left foot. Now allow your outer left hip and thigh to sink towards your mat and then lift yourself up. Got to allow your outer hip to sink to the mat and then, ooh, arc it back up. Just a total of 3 times. Yeah, great. Good. Right shoulder back a little. That's it, Gina. Good. Beautiful. Excellent. And then both hands to the floor. Find your way to downward dog. Good. Well done. Well done. Okay, so you're going to take your left foot forward. You're going to walk it up there, swing it up there, chunk it up there. Gently set it up there. Bring your block to the inside of your left foot. Left knee is bent, right heel spins down, setting up for Parsvakonasana. Right fingertips to the back of your head. Breathing in, lift your sternum out of your belly. Breathing out, coil down, bring your right elbow towards your left knee. That looks terrific, everyone. Good. Very little movement through your legs and your pelvis. Really isolate this into your side trunk, your ribs. Good. And after 3 times, you'll pause with your elbow lifted. Great. And then you can take your arm up if you'd like. Right arm can go up to the ceiling. Maybe if your shoulder approves, you can sweep your right arm over your right ear. Oh, good. Now really anchor into your outer right foot. Oh, nice. Bring your left sit bone just a little closer to the floor. Yeah, good, Sonia. Good. Great. Head back, everyone. There it is, Maxine. Excellent. And then right hand to the floor. Set your block to the side. We're going to come into staff pose. And then you're going to come into forearm staff. Spin your heels to the right. And bring your left hand to your left waist. And here we go. Let your outer right hip come to the mat and then boom, lift it right back up 3 times. Good. Slow and controlled. Discipline. Nice. Head back. Left shoulder back. Good. Great. After 3 times, both hands to the floor, downward facing dog. Take your time transitioning. Ah, good. Good deal. So from downward dog, I want you to come to your hands and your knees and let's hit thread the needle. And take your knees a little bit wider than your hips, please. Let's start with our right arm, taking the right arm onto the floor between your left hand and left knee. Oh yeah, this feels good. Pull your right hip back just a little bit, just a fraction. Good, and then sweep your left hip back just a fraction. So even in this rotational movement, we're still making the appeal for length in our waist and in our trunk. Yay, great. And pressing your left hand into the floor, allow yourself to come back up to your hands and your knees. Give yourself a moment. You can move your spine in any way, shape, form, or direction if you'd like, or just be still. Let your spine neutralize, so to speak. And then let's roll to the other side. You'll take your left arm onto the floor. Good. Thread it between your right knee, right hand. Good. And let your hips move from right to left a couple of times, just small moves, not a big hip shake, just a little small move. And then see if just in your sensing of where you are, your proprioception, can you square your hips behind you? Notice if your hips naturally want to migrate to one side more than the other. Good. And with your legs stable, your pelvis stable, maybe you can thread your left arm through another centimeter. Yeah, good. All right, good. Press your right hand into the floor. Slowly return to your hands and your knees, and you'll make your way to downward facing dog. And from downward dog or hands and knees, you're going to take your right heel to the ceiling. And I want you to roll your right hip back like you're stacking your right hip over your left. Bend your right knee. Bring your right heel towards your left shoulder. Let's get a big stretch. Open up through the right hip flexors. And then you'll square your hips and bring your right foot to the floor. And we'll do that same thing on the other side. Left leg up, left heel up, big yawn. Bend the knee, roll the hip back. Draw your belly in slightly, especially if you're pretty bendy through the lumbar spine. Good. Square your hips, please, and set your left foot to the floor. Nice. Now from here, we're going to walk our feet up to our hands. Take your time. Once you have your feet to the top of your mat, I'm going to have you grab your block, slide your block long ways between your thighs. Give your block a good squeeze with your adductors, your AD adductors, and then you're going to bend your knees, sink into your hips, come into Utkatasana, chair pose. That's your inhale. And as you exhale, continue to hug your block, stand up straight and strong on both legs, and bring your arms down by your sides. When you inhale, you'll drop down into chair pose again. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Exhale, stand strong, tall, and long. Let's do that 3 more times for a total of 5. Slow, slow. Inhale, sink and squeeze. Hug, hug, hug. Good. Keep squeezing as you exhale and lift up. Yeah, nice. Twice more. Inhale, slow, 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 slow. Belly firm. Exhale, rise up. Looks great. Good. 1 more time. Inhale. And exhale. Nice. Now we're going to keep the block between our thighs, but if you need to move it for a moment in order to get your chair onto the mat, if you've got a chair, if you're going to play along and use the chair, slide the top 2 feet, top 2 legs, top 2 feet of your chair on your mat, if possible. If you had a little table, a little end table, that would work as well. And then once you get your chair position, and this could be your dining room chair, whatever, you're going to put the block between your thighs once again, and then extend forward, hinging at your hips. Bring your hands to the top of your chair. If you've got a chair that allows for that, if you're using a table or something or a desk, that's fine. Just bring your hands to the top of the desk or the table. And then here we are in chair dog. Block between your thighs. Keep squeezing and hugging. Good. Shoot your thigh bones back. Shoot your femurs back. Good. Shoot your sit bones back. Yeah, great. Good. And lengthen through your side waist. Yeah, great. Good. Now, you can keep your left hand to the back or the top of your chair. Bring your right hand and just set your right hand on the seat. Adjust your feet if you need to. I really want you to push your left hand into your chair. We're focusing now on lengthening left side waist. Femurs draw back, sit bones draw back.
Good. Now change hands. Let your left hand find the seat of the chair. Right hand takes the top. Big stretch through the right side of your body, getting as much of a yawn from your outer right hip to your right wrist. Nice. Good. Right hand to the seat of your chair, please. Good. Now I'm going to have you take your left hand. If you've got a folding chair, or even if it's a dining room chair, take your left hand to the side of your chair, the left side of your chair. So it's not at the top, but it's over here on the side. The right hand is going to come down to grab the leg or the foot of your chair, the left leg, left foot of your chair. Now, another option is just to bring your right hand to the seat of your chair once again and kind of press into your right hand to give yourself a little bit of a twist. Otherwise, right hand takes the lower left leg of the chair. Left hand is holding on to the left upper back of the chair. It's getting complicated, isn't it, with all the left, left, right, right, left, left. You're doing great. Okay. Good. And then let's switch gears, second side. And bring your hands to the seat once again. Let your spine kind of unwind. Right hand takes the right back of the chair. Left hand is going to cross. You're going to look underneath your right arm. Good. Left hand is at the foot of the chair. You're going to push your femurs back, push your sit bones back. Spin, spin, spin through your trunk. Ooh, great. Okay, come back to neutral. Find your chair dog. And how about both hands to the seat of your chair or your table or your desk? As you walk your feet back a little as you need to. Good. We'll just land in chair dog for just a moment. Okay, I'm going to give this one more twist. Left hand stays at the seat of your chair. Right hand is going to sweep across your legs and take the outer left ankle or the outer left shin. Good. And I want you to pull your right hand, pull your right leg. Pull your right leg. Good. And press your left hand into the seat. Good. Spin, spin, spin. Look underneath your left arm. Pull with your right hand, let your elbow bend a little. Good, great, excellent. Bring your right hand to the chair. Whew. Pause in chair dog for a moment. You still squeezing your blocks? All right, and then right hand stays to the chair, left hand sweeps across your legs and grabs a hold of the outer right shin or maybe the ankle, and then really pull. Let your elbow bend a little and spin through your trunk. Yeah, that looks great, everybody. Good. Keep hugging your block and pin your femurs to the wall behind you. Pin your sit bones to the wall behind you. Wow, good. Great. Excellent. Return to neutral, both hands to the seat of your chair, your table, your desk. Finding chair dog one more time. Bring your fingertips to your chair. You can lift yourself up slightly. Then bring your hands to your waist. With strong, sturdy legs, inhale, rise up, rise up, rise up to standing. Go remove your block. Prasarita Padottanasana, wide-legged forward bend. Keep your chair where it is. We're actually going to use it once more, but just want you to take a step forward with one foot and turn to the side, coming into a wide stance.
And you all know the drill. See that your heels are equal distance from the back of your sticky mat. Take your arms out like a T and, kind of eyeball that your wrists are above your ankles. That's generally a good indication that your stance is wide enough. And then bring your hands to your waist and find that pelvic rim. Maybe kind of manipulate, palpate the inside of that pelvic rim a little bit, maybe a little looser, a little juicier in there now. And then when you inhale, lift your heart, lift your sternum, take your chin up, chest up, eyes up. We're going to hinge forward as you exhale, hinging at your hip crease, and come on down. So now you've got the block here. You're welcome to bring your forehead or the crown of your head to your block and your hands to the floor. Block can be on any height. The block is just there as a prop. It's not mandatory. If you want to bring your head to the floor, if your back body allows for that, go for it. Good. Yeah, great. And then open your mouth really wide. Pop your tongue out. Take the tip of your tongue to your lower chin. Go ahead and pull your tongue back in and close your mouth. Gently shake your head no. And softly nod your head yes. Good. Great. Come up onto your fingertips. Lift your trunk up slightly. You can bring your hands to your waist once more. And again, with strong, sturdy legs, inhale, rise up. Good. You can heel toe your feet towards one another a time or two. And then step your feet together. Okay, we're going to do one more standing pose with the chair, and then we're going to hit the floor, triangle pose. So I'm going to have you step your, well, how about you just step a foot forward since we're all kind of facing a different direction? Well, no, let's try to get this uniform. I'll mirror you, step your right foot forward, and you're going to take your right foot, your right toes like just towards the foot of your chair. And depending on length and suppleness, you might move your chair a little bit or reposition your body. Your right foot forward, and then big step back with your left foot. Your big triangle stance, big step back with your left foot. Good. And then before we go any further, I want you to bring your hands to your ribs and manually turn your ribs to the left. Like feel the skin move under your hands. Feel the skin move over your ribs under your hands. Turn your ribs to the left. Good. And notice if your right knee kind of fell inward when you did that. So right knee's got to continue moving to the right. We do that by activating the quadriceps, which is another class altogether. But as your right leg is strong and anchored, moving your ribs to the left, move your sternum to the left. Then from here, left hand to your left waist, right arm up. And let's start by just getting as much length as possible. Anchor into the mound of your right big toe. Good. Lift through your right fingertips, up, 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 up. And then you can exhale and begin to hinge at your right hip crease. You're reaching your right hand to the back of your chair, the top of your chair, rather. The top of your back of your chair. So complicated. Because you let your right hand rest on the back of your chair. And so all we're doing in this triangle pose is going for as much length as possible through our right waist. Good. Now take a quick glance into your legs. Give yourself a little leg assessment, leg inventory, feet and legs, really strong, sturdy, firm. And then with your left hand, start manipulating your ribs to move up towards the ceiling. Turn, turn, turn your sternum to the ceiling. Good. Turn, turn, turn. And then you can keep your eyes looking straight ahead. I like to look down to the floor or to the seat of the chair so as to not strain my neck. Now, if you want to take your left arm up, go for it. But I want you to keep your right hand to the back of your chair. Good. That looks wonderful.
You hike your right hip back a little more, pull your right ribs away from your hip crease just a tiny bit more. Good, 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 good. Now we can set your right fingertips to the seat of your chair. Good, pull up through your left arm and rise up to standing. Whew. Let your arms float down to your sides. Nice. Heel toe your back foot in a step or two. And then you can turn to your right and step forward to your chair. Now we're ready for the other side. Yowza! Take your right foot back, big wide stance back. And before we dive into the shape, hands to your ribs and turn the skin over your ribs to the right. Turn, turn, turn. And then, whoa, what happened to your left knee? Engage your quadriceps, draw your left knee slightly to the left as your trunk turns to the right. And then here we go. Right hand to your waist, left arm up, reach up, reach up, reach up. Long, tall, long and tall, long and tall. And then on an exhalation, you'll begin to fold forward. Left hand finds the top of your chair. Let the left hand land. Now we can resume our work of manipulating, wrapping our ribs with our right hand. Wrap your ribs around to the right. Good. Yeah, moving your ribs, your bone, moving the connective tissue, the fascia, the skin, everything is mobilizing. Now, if you'd like to take your top arm up, take it up. Good, right arm up. Good. Shift into your left hip crease, just another fraction. That's it, Delinda, nice. Well done. Good, head back, brother, that looks excellent. Yeah. You can look to the floor if you'd like. Let's just go a couple more breaths, almost there. You can turn those right toes in just a hair for me, Maxine. Yeah. Good. Now, left fingertips to the seat of your chair. Pull up. Yeah, come on up. Heel toe your back foot in a step or two. You can turn and step forward. Holy smokes. Block one more time between your thighs, pulling the energy back to midline. Inhale for Utkatasana. Exhale, stand up, hug your block. 2 more times for a total of 3. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, Tadasana. Good. Sitting down low, Utkatasana. And standing up strong, Tadasana. Beautiful. Great. You can remove your block. You can set your chair to the side. Grab your strap and come down onto the floor. Good. And take your right leg out in front, pull your left heel in and drop your left knee towards the floor. And your right leg can be a little off to the right, doesn't have to be square down the front. Take it a little to the right. And you're going to loop your strap around the ball of your right foot. And I want you to have actually a fairly large loop. So go ahead and take the tail end of your strap through the 2 D-rings, loop it back on itself. So you've got a circle. And then you'll take the strap around the ball of your right foot and bring the strap along the outside of your right leg. So what's going to happen next is you're going to take your left arm out to the left, internally rotate your left arm, right? Roll your shoulder forward. And then bend your left elbow, bring it behind your back, and loop your strap or loop your hand into your strap. Okay, I'm doing this on the screen so you can see if you need to. Left arm goes behind your back, loop your hand into the loop of your strap, or hook your hand. How about that? Hook your hand into the loop of your strap. Now you've got the tail of your strap. You can tighten it up if you'd like, if you want to get a little more traction. Okay. Great. You don't need to do too much, not too much. And once you get your left hand situated in the loop of your strap, you're going to take your right arm up. Give yourself a little twist to the left, tiny twist, and then you're going to reach out over your right leg and maybe just take a hold of the strap, you know, above your shin. Maybe take your right hand to the outside of your right foot. Roll your left shoulder back. And turn your ribs to the left, turn your sternum to the left. Right hand, remember, can take your strap, the outside of the foot. You might take your peace fingers around your right big toe. Yeah. Sternum to the left. Good. Release your right hand from your foot. Allow yourself to sit upright. Good. Let go of your strap. We'll come back to it in a moment. Pull your left knee up. Set your left foot onto the floor. Good. Set your left fingertips to the floor behind you. And now we're going to twist into our left knee. We're just going to give it the forearm hook. Wrap your left elbow, or wrap your right elbow around the front of your left knee. Just the old forearm hook. Look out beyond your right big toe. Spread your toes, activate your foot. Draw your navel into your left thigh. Good. Let's unravel. You can stretch your left leg down onto the floor. Pull your right knee up. Allow your right knee to fall down towards the floor. You can put your block underneath your right knee if you'd like for added support. Take your loop. Bring it over your left toes, the ball of your left foot. The loop strap comes down the outer seam of your left leg. Take your right arm out to the right. Internally rotate your right arm. Okay. Then bend your right elbow, sweep your forearm behind your back, and hook your right hand into your loop, into your strap. All right, from there, left arm sweeps up. Big breath in, and then we kind of side bend over the left leg. Left hand can take your straps, can take the outside of your left foot. Peace fingers around your left big toe. Remember, you can cinch up your strap as you need to provide plenty of traction. And then we turn our belly to the right, turn the sternum to the right. Roll your right shoulder back. Not so much about forward bending or how low we can get to the left leg, opening up the belly. Maybe you notice a little stretch on along the rim of your right hip. All right, release your left hand. Release your right hand from the strap. Let yourself rise up. Pull your right knee up.
use your right hand to help you. Okay. Right fingertips will find the floor behind you. That's your kickstand. And then forearm hook, left forearm around the right knee, right shin. And here we go, twisty, twisty to the right as your spine moves to the right and your ribs move to the right, your sternum moves to the right. Turn your head to the left. Look out over your left shoulder, over your left toes. Spread them. Wake up your foot. Activate your leg. Good. Great. And then unravel, unwind, please. Whew, good. Well done. Good. Stretch both legs out onto the floor. And just briefly inhale, arms up, Dandasana. Lift up, side ribs up away from your pelvis. And then exhale, float your arms down. Yeah, terrific. Let's roll onto our backs and find bridge pose with the help of your block. Onto your back, knees bend. Take your block to its second height. Slide it underneath your sacrum. Let's give ourselves 2 or 3 breaths with the block at that level. Bring your right toes in, Maxine. Yep, good. So you've got your feet lined up. And I want to give you the option now, if you want to take your block up a notch to the tallest height, you lift your heels, come up onto the balls of your feet and flip the block up one more height. Yeah. So now at this point, lengthen your arms down your sides and clasp your fingers together just on the other side of your block. Yeah, nestle your right shoulder blade in towards your spine. Nestle your left shoulder blade in towards your spine. Yeah, now plant down firmly through the outer hand, the outer wrist, through your arms. Anchor down into your shoulders and lift your pelvis about 1 centimeter or 2 off the block. Press into your feet, all 4 corners, balls of your feet, your heels. Press into your arms. Lift up. Shear your femurs forward. Good. Stay elevated. Nice. And then come down to your block. And I'm going to leave you here for about 1.5 minutes, maybe 2. Change the interlace of your fingers. Refine the pose. This is Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. Refine this shape by assessing your shoulders once again and externally rotating your shoulders, your humerus bones and the shoulder joint. Buoy up through your heart, your sternum, your ribs, your belly. Now the exit strategy, those of you who have your block on the longest height, the tallest height, I want you to come down to the second height. So lift your heels, lift your hips up a little higher, come down to the next height down, and let's all take a moment there. Good. Now you can unleash your shoulder blades from your spine. Let your upper back broaden and widen. And lift your hips one more time and slide the block out from underneath your pelvis. Bring your spine to the floor, one vertebrae at a time, piece by piece. Your tailbone is the last part of you to hit the floor, and then avoid the temptation of bringing your knees to your chest right away. Give yourself a little breathing room before you do that. So instead, take your feet wide, let your knees knock inward so they rest against one another at the midline. And visualize your sacrum broadening. Along your lower back. Terrific. Now you'll take your right ankle to the top of your left knee. We're not going to go right into pigeon. Rather, what I'd like you to do is keep this figure 4 shape with your legs and drop your legs to the left. Your right foot will find the floor. So it's kind of a twisted pigeon. Take your right arm up on the diagonal, reaching your right hand away from your shoulder, reaching your right hand away from your right hip, and your left hand, reach for your right ankle. Plant your right foot down, invite your right knee to move away from your left shoulder. Your right knee moves towards the wall beyond the foot of your sticky mat. If you'll visualize those attachment places of connective tissue where your obliques meet up with the rim of your pelvis on your right side. Sort of like gently pulling the taffy of that connective tissue. Good. Open your right hand wide, spread your fingers, spread the webbing between your fingers. Come back to center, please. Sorry. Good. Put your right foot to the floor and kind of assess what's going on in your pelvis before you move to the other side, taking your left ankle to the top of your right knee. Allowing your legs to drop over to the right. Keeping the figure 4 shape, and notice what's different about this side. Anything, if anything. Or reach your right hand down for your left ankle, or maybe simply grab your pant leg. And your left arm extends up on, kind of off on the diagonal.
Yeah, straight left arm, open palm, fingers wide. And your left knee presses towards the wall beyond the foot of your mat. How's your jaw? Do you need a little nudge, a little gentle verbal nudge to unhinge at your TMJ? Let your bottom teeth drop away from your top teeth, and your tongue can peel off the roof of your mouth if it's been glued up there. Oh, I like this one so much. Great. So at this point, you'll bring your legs back up to center and take your sweet time to set your left foot on the floor next to your right foot and give your body ample time to just land on the mat and kind of adjust what needs to be adjusted, the back of your head, your shoulders in relationship to your hips in relationship to your feet. At that point, you can pull your knees to your chest, and then I want you to take your heels to the ceiling for Supta Dandasana. Arms can be down by your sides or out like a T, or a little more challenging would be arms overhead. But listen to your shoulders, listen to your low back. Don't push it. Do press up through your heels. Do press up through the inseam of your legs. And just looking for the vertical line. Good. Long through your side waists. Once more, just last reminder to pull your side ribs away from your pelvic rim. Excellent. Knees bend to your chest, please, and one foot at a time. Set your feet to your mat. Arms can come down by your sides, and here we go. Shava. And you've got a chair. If you want to swing your legs over the seat of your chair or kind of shimmy up onto a sofa or a lazy boy, that's fine too. Use any props that are at your disposal. Good. Invite your mind to settle on the movement of your breath, the ebb and the flow, the rise and the fall. And rather than manipulating, monitoring closely, simply let your breath glide, finding its own pacing, its own rhythm, its own tidal flow. And your awareness is just kind of along for the ride. Notice if your breath is shifted as you move into Shavasana, if it's gotten lighter or more shallow, or if it's become heavy and deep. How might you name the texture of your breath at this point in your practice? No more instruction. For the next few minutes, you'll simply rest. If your time and space permits, I urge you to stay in Shavasana for another 3, 5, even 10 minutes. Otherwise, while your body is relaxed and in this soft, lucid state, bring your hands to your hip rims once again. Move your fingers just inside your hip points, the ASIS. Feel the connective tissue, feel the attachments. Begin palpating with your fingers and maybe your thumb along the back of your pelvic rim. And move your fingers up and down. A little post-exploration, post-practice exploration. Slow, noticing the tender spots, if there are any. Good. And then we're going to begin to make our way up to sitting. So you can stretch if you need to, pull your knees up, feet to the floor. Then make your way upright, taking a seat, and bring your 2 palms together, base of your thumbs to your third eye. May the strength and the peace that we generate on our mats bring strength and peace to our minds. And glide your fingertips to your lips. The strength and peace that we generate on our mats, may it provide strength and peace in our words. And your hands come to your heart. The strength and the peace that we generate
on our mats, on our screen, with one another in this virtual digital community. May it provide strength and peace in our hearts this week. Thank you for joining me.